Hello everyone. Just got back from Liverpool. Went to the National British Strike, and it's the first time I've ever really gone to um, anything like that. I see it more online with, most of the time it's stuff in London, and it's might upset a few people, but I went to London a few years ago, and it was good. Like, it was all right, but I decided there and then that I'd never go back. It's not my kind of place. I'm a countryman. I like it in the country. I like to be away from people. Don't get me wrong. I like to socialise, but big cities like London, it's too much for me. And with all the rules and regulations, I had to get the car booked in for the emissions and all that, and it was too much. Um, so I've never really gone to the big protests, and I know there's been some in Manchester, um, but it, I've always been working. But now I've had a bit of free time. I decided that with this one, it's a British National Strike. I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go down and see it firsthand and see what it's like. Just get down there. I didn't plan to buy any flags or anything. I just wanted to go and be there as a face, as a number, really, and really just to walk around and meet people and talk to them. And it's mad. I spoke to some really nice people, and they all had different reasons to be in there today. And but a lot of them actually voted Starmer in, and it being Liverpool, if people don't know around England, Liverpool's a very Labour strong city. They love Labour. They all they always vote for Labour. Labour's always run Liverpool because it's always sort of, they see it that Labour helps them, and it has in a way. What they don't realise, because obviously where I'm from, Southport, they always get told, "Oh, I've not been to Southport," and like this elderly lady, she said her daughter said, "Oh, Southport's not what it used to be, Mum." And so she was asking me, why is Southport so bad? And I said, well, it sounds horrible, but Southport used to have its own sort of committee that would get bits of money that they could put into Southport back from what was spent. Well, Southport's full of parking with no shops, and everything's closed, and it's because all the money that goes to Southport ends up in Liverpool. So we actually get stripped of all of our money, and the money that we do get, it only comes to us. It benefits the rich people who own whatever it is getting invested in. So it makes one person rich and not the rest of Southport. But it's sold to Southport like it's a great idea. But there's someone will own that land, and he's the one that's actually making the money. Southport, us people, we don't really have much of a say in what happens here. But anyway, going back to Liverpool, it was good just to really just get around and talk to people. I didn't catch the gentleman's name that I spoke to, but he was ex-forces. He was out of the SAS, and it turns out he actually he fought alongside Ant Middleton, which was pretty cool. And he had a few stories about Ant that I'll not go into on here because it was surprised me. But I can believe it, which is quite sad. But anyway, he was good, and he opened my eyes to quite a lot of stuff. Some of the stuff I wasn't sure people would agree with me on. He didn't agree on me with a few things, but he opened my eyes and made me see it in a different light, which was good. Obviously, the fishing wars have brought that up because of obviously the new deal that Starmer's done. I said I tried to look into the fish wars, and I may have got it wrong a little bit, but I don't know. It's hard for me because a lot of stuff that's been said over the years has come out. It's been false. So I struggle to believe any data that I see. But we apparently, the Englishmen, dried up the cod. So, like we depleted the cod in the sea. We overfished, and it upset people. And then basically Iceland took over. We gave them more rights. But what I kind of thought was, we had the best fishing grounds, which were a few nautical miles off where the Iceland fishermen could go. And when it came to a war, they ended up, because they had NATO bases with America and they just joined the EU, they were threatening America to sort of send their military equipment back and not let them have a base there. And so America had a chat with our government and decided that they'd given more than 4 nautical miles off the shore. They gave them 12, which ended up being where the English fishermen fish. And so the English fishermen didn't get the fish they were always getting. Now, a lot of people say that it was the Iceland, they were fighting back for the territory. But then I think, well, maybe the English had the territory first, America paid off the British government, and the British government paid off the wealthy fishermen that owned the fleets. So the wealthy fishermen sold off some of the fleets and took the profits and basically dropped the working class man and got rid of their boats. I mean, it's far-fetched. I don't, you can't say, oh, no, Hayden, I don't think that would happen, because let's just be honest now, that is what's happening with everything. We're being sold, we're just cattle. They don't care about us, do they? Starmer's been bought out, and I think most of the people at this protest did. But anyway, there was a lot that he was talking to me about, some younger lads as well. There's a few people about the migration, which is fair enough. It is an issue, but like the farmers and the winter allowance, these are all the main issues. These were the billboards. There was nothing to do with sending migrants back home or anything like that. It was more for the issues that everyone's got. And this is the bit that upset me, because whilst we were there for our own reasons, over on the left side we had the lefties with the Palestine flags. One guy had an Irish flag. My partner's Irish. She spotted it and she was like, what's he doing over there? And then he was dressed differently to a normal person. In fact, they all were. And they were screaming down a microphone with a speaker. And I couldn't help but laugh, because I don't know why I felt, it sounds horrible, but I felt bad for them, because the signs said that, like, get rid of the fascism, like fascists, and calling us fascist scum. And they were doing, those people screaming it were doing it, and I don't think they fully understand it, because I've been trying to learn it more and more. But we just want to go back 20-30 years when things were great. Like, for me, I just want my way of life the same, and all I see is culture being forced down our throat left, right and centre. Your little girl could be a boy and your little boy could be a girl, and you need to respect us LGBTQS1 people. And I'm like, that's fascism. They're forcing these agendas on us and pushing these rights when we're like, oh, no, it's not working. All this culture change is happening too fast. It's just not working. And that's what we're there for, to stop it. We don't want any more change. We just need to look at our nation that's collapsing and fix this. and Starmer's now having us back in the EU, so we're going to have to ask the EU if we can do things in our own country. I just think it's absolutely mental. Starmer, he's the fascist one. He's the one that's doing the things that he wants, not what we want. He's pushing his agendas. He's doing everything against what he said he was going to do. His manifesto was just rubbish because he's not done any of it. And the people that were stood with me were people that are from the left. They've got far right signs. Get the far right off our streets. These people weren't far right. These aren't right. These are left people that I was talking to. They voted for Starmer. They said I was talking to them. They voted Starmer in, and can't believe how much chaos he's caused. And then you've got these, and they look ill. They look mentally ill. These people. They don't look right. And I think that's why I was like, oh my god, you can't argue with stupid. These people were screaming this stuff across the street, and if they really understood what the signs said, then surely they'd be like, oh, that's me. That's actually me. I'm doing that. And that's the bit that I couldn't understand, that they were still screaming it. And so, like, what did I get from it? Well, the conclusion, I feel, for me, is they know what they're saying. They just want to trigger people. They were really trying to wind people up to get a reaction. So in the end, we all turned our backs on them, which did silence them. That must have upset them, and we laughed at them. They got louder after that. But when I was watching the faces, they were all miserable. They were all angry, and they were all aggressive looking, and sad as well. Like, there was no happiness, no joy. There was nothing. It was all pure. Like, it was just negativity. Whereas on our side, we were laughing. We were doing all sorts of funny songs, like, you know, and we just had a laugh, everyone. But when I looked around, you know, people were laughing and chatting and talking, but the other side, they were stood on these steps, all looking directly at us, waiting. Someone would scream something, and they would scream it. Someone would scream something, and they would scream it. And it was just so bland, so aggressive, so sad, so miserable. And I was thinking, geez, these people, I feel, know exactly what they're doing, but they're so scared to be that one person in that group to admit that what they're doing is wrong, that they just keep on following the crowd. They just keep on doing it like robots. If I keep doing it, they'll like me. If I keep doing it, they'll like me. If I keep saying it, they'll like me because I've got no one else. And it's quite sad in the end. I felt sorry for them. And I don't mean it in a sad, nasty way. I mean it, I genuinely think that these people don't have many friends, many big groups of people that will accept them. And they've found a group that accepts their opinion because they're all like-minded. And I think they're all too scared to tell each other that what they're doing is wrong, because then they won't be able to have that group connection. Does that make sense? But then I look at other videos and they're saying that they outnumber us. I mean, that's like an aggressive stance. That's quite an intimidating way of saying things. But going back to me being there, and the turnout was good, especially for Liverpool, because it's not a right sort of sided city. It's very left. A lot of them were left. Even the guy that I was talking to was left. He actually voted Reform in the not the general election, in the council election, the last one we just had. But he doesn't think Ant Middleton would be very good for Reform, and he opened my eyes about that. But he thinks that if Farage gets in, he will do something about it. Because I said, well, I don't know about Farage. I really don't trust him. I think he got Brexit there, but he never did anything. And he said, well, for 15 to 20 years, he was in the EU trying to fight to get Britain out of the EU. And he said that once he's done it, he'll stand down. And fair play to him, like this guy said to me, he did that. He got Brexit done for England, and then he stood down, so he didn't actually see it through, which I suppose he said his word, but had he stepped up 5 years ago and said Boris is doing a wrong job, I should be the next Conservative leader, I think that would have been a better time than now. And I think we've let it go too far over the past 5 years. It was 6 years ago, wasn't it? Jeez. So yeah, I think now is a bit late, but because we've got to wait another 4 more years. There's no way Starmer's going to do a general election. If he did, then yeah, Farage. I think Farage would win. I saw a lot of people that voted Starmer said they would vote for reform, and that's quite shocking, especially when a lot of my friends are on the left and they hate Starmer, but I don't think they'll vote though. I know my friend that's always voted said he wouldn't vote for anything now, and he doesn't like reform, which I think Nigel Farage, they've just done a very good job of giving him a bad label, but I still don't trust him. I've never trusted him. I think I'd vote for reform and hope they do what they say they're going to do, but I wouldn't be shocked when they don't. Whereas I think everyone else that's voting for reform would be shocked with him not doing the things that he's saying he's going to do. And if he did do some of it, I think it'd take a lot longer than what people think. But yeah, I'm hoping that it gets out there. There was so many people in Liverpool and they were just carrying on their everyday life. That was quite sad to see, because they're the people that are just sort of turning their backs against it and thinking, oh, everything will be alright, everything will be alright. Another 5 or 10 more years and this carries on, we will not be alright. They like to sit at their TV or their computer or on their phone and talk about it, but it definitely is at the point now where we need to start doing something about it. People definitely need to start getting out and on the street now, peacefully. There was no violence today. If anything, the violence was coming from the left. The police actually pushed them back. There was a few in the group that I was on that were getting aggressive, and it's because they were getting wound up. To those people, you need to get your emotions in check. You're falling into their trap. That's exactly what they want. They want you to lash out, because if you, the one person, gets arrested, then you label the whole group as a bad bunch, and that's what they can do. It doesn't matter about them. That for some reason the media loves them and hates us. So you've just got to be careful. You've got to keep your emotions in check. But you need to go out there and stand on the street and show them numbers. You need to put them numbers in there. It's a hard one today, because I bet scattered around England there was tens of thousands of people, but it's not enough. We need to show the numbers. It was a small group in the middle of a city centre, and as good of a bunch of people they are, we need more people. It's just no one thinks they need to go out. I thought this in the last few sort of protests and everything. I thought my face isn't going to make a difference. And then if I'm still thinking my face isn't going to make a difference, and there's millions of other people watching videos thinking this is a disgrace that's happening to England, but it'll sort itself out, they don't need me. We need you. They need you. My daughter needs you. My partner needs you. My family needs you, because we are getting overrun by a different culture, and it is scaring the life out of me. Because if you're older than me, it may not affect you much in 10-15 years, but your sons, daughters and granddaughters and grandsons, it will affect them. It really will. They are pushing these ideologies, these agendas, these culture changes. They are suppressing the white Englishmen and women. They are making a mock of us. They are like Lucy Connolly, who's been locked up for 2.5 years over a tweet which, you know, it was wrong. She should not have done that, but she deleted it, but she shouldn't have done that in the first place. Again, you need to keep your emotions in check. She was angry, and I understand she went through some stuff, that was at home for me. That is in my town what that happened. My daughter goes to the school where 2 of the girls were stabbed. They're all right now, but it's taken a while. It really affected them. And my friends, the other girls that have passed, bless their little souls, I have friends who know them. They're down the road. It's very close to home, and my emotions, I had to keep them in check, and I was very, very upset. I cried a lot because I couldn't imagine how those parents would feel having to wake up the next day and not have their daughter in their bed and ever see them again. So it really, it hits hard. But again, going to the next day when those protesters started throwing bricks at the police, why would you think that that's a good thing? Again, you need to keep your emotions in check. That is not going to solve the problem. And I get it, there's a lot of people I see all over the videos saying we need to get on the streets, we need bats, we need to fight back. That isn't going to fix it. You striking, not working and putting money into the government will work, because they won't have any funding. Because if they can't pay the police officer can't stop us from going and doing these marches. And I don't mean that like we don't want police there, so we're going to smash things up. And what I'm saying is they won't stop us from being in numbers, and then they will see, right, these guys are right. They're getting that they are doing what they want for their country. It's smashing up local businesses and robbing is not what we do. That's not what we do in this country. That again is bad culture. Children that don't respect shops and think that smashing things up when there's protests and stealing about alcohol and stuff like that, that's not good. That is against how we were brought up in England. The English way of doing it is just getting on the street and screaming out and chanting songs to say we're not happy with what's happening with the government. The migration, the immigration that's happening, that is a problem because they are getting a lot of money. It's all over the internet. These people on the left that are calling us racist, we're not racist, we're just worried because they are getting paid to come to this country, they're getting phones, jobs, and they're sending it all back home. Well, that money not in this country isn't going to help my daughter. I want, and I'm working as hard as I can. I can't have any more kids, but yet there's mums out there that have come from other countries that are having loads of kids. How does that work? How come they can come here and have loads of kids, but I can't even have another kid because I've not got enough money? I'm struggling to pay for the house and everything. It's just one-sided. But then taking the winter fuel allowance off my gran and your gran, when he said that it had a go at Rishi Sunak, saying it was disgusting that he was going to do this to the OAPs, he comes in and does that straight away. I saw something the other day. Rachel Reeves, she's on about tax, or the Chancellor's she's asking to take tax or taxes on our savings. So money you're saving up for your kids, they want to tax you on that. They're taxing your pension. When you get your people that are waiting for a pension and retirement, they are taxing you on that. My mum didn't know this the other day when I was talking to her about it. I did, that's why I don't like pensions. I pay into my state, but I don't want a private one. But you will get taxed on that. So whatever money you think you've got in there, you will get taxed on that. They sell it like, oh, you don't pay tax on it. You do. You pay tax when you get it back into your account. There's so much more that people don't actually realise is happening to them, and they just walk around with their head buried in the sand. Like, you've got to start looking into these things. What is happening to our country is disgusting, and that is why the national strike today was great, because the people are actually waking up. People on the left are standing on the side of the right now because they are realising how bad this government is. They are doing it to help their friends and not us. They're there to help us, but they're not helping us, they're helping their friends. They are making millions, yet we are losing everything. So anyway, looks like I've not got anything on, but I've got shorts on. Yeah, Just, you need to get on the street. Just take a British flag, or an Irish flag, or a Welsh flag, or a Scottish flag, take it to the street, and try and get this government to look and see what it's actually doing to the people. We need to have change, and it's not Keir Starmer's change. It's change for our sons, our daughters, our grandkids, our great grandkids, our next generations. Grandkids I haven't even met yet. They're the ones that are going to suffer if I don't do anything, or you don't do anything. So we need to get onto these streets peacefully and try and get our country back to how it was 30, 40, 50 years ago, because they were the better days. My daughter doesn't have what I had when I was a kid, and when I was a kid I didn't have what my mum had, and when my mum was a kid she didn't have what my gran had. Okay, we don't have that freedom anymore, and each generation we're losing. But in fact, we're losing freedom every year, every month at the moment, with what Keir Starmer's doing. And we can't just stand here and allow that to happen. We need to make this movement. It needs to work. We need to get there. We need to see these people and follow them, and follow the crowd that's trying to fight for your kids, your grandkids, future generations, future. Instead of sitting at home and doing sod all about it, we need to get out there and show them that what they're doing is not working. Keir Starmer has turned his back on this country, and he is supposed to be a leader. He is not a leader. He is a man taking orders from other people. He wants to be told by other countries that are nothing to do with England what to do. That's not a leader. A leader puts his people first. A leader shows you the way before he makes you go that way. He will climb over the cliff edge before you do, to make sure it's safe. There's trust. There's no trust in him. There's no leadership in him. He's a full-on liar. This man's worse than Boris Johnson when it comes to lying. He does the complete opposite of what he says. That speech he made the other day about we're a nation of strangers, that's because he's already done a deal with the EU to take in floodloads more of illegal immigrants and migrants. He's filling England up, and Indians and Pakistanis, they are like, they hate each other, and he's filling this country up with them. So they're bringing their culture war into our nation, which is a different culture to theirs. We're all just going to have a massive civil war, like, against each other. In fact, I think the Indians will be on our side. It's Islam that's going mad. And that's not a racist thing, that's a religious thing. Like, I've started going to church, and what I've learned, and from going there for a few months now, back to church and learning it all again, it's basically, you just got to treat everyone like you treat yourself. That's basically, look after everyone. Look after something, and it'll look after you. Look after your neighbour, and they'll look after you. Look after your daughter, and they'll look after you. I look after my mum. My mum always looked after me. It's just what happens. I look after my grandma. My grandma used to look after me when I was a kid, and my mum couldn't. It all comes back. It's like it's just good. It's all good. It's all nice. Whereas it's the Quran. It's full of a lot of hate, a lot of war. I've not read it fully, but I've looked into it. I've took bits out of it. Some of it's good, some of it's really bad. We don't need that in our country. We're a Christian nation. Like, that's how we became us, and they're trying to change it. I don't like that. I just don't like that. I don't want my daughter going to a mosque. No way. But they're putting them up left, right and centre at the moment. They are putting them up so fast. It's just like, and I feel like the only thing I can do is just go and stand next to other people like me. But it's sad when you see other people walking past with kids and not realising that this is going to affect your kids in the future. You know, their culture. That my mum sells houses, and she's not selling many to English, like, you know, like white Englishmen or white English women. They're not buying them anymore because they can't afford it. You're getting in doctors from other countries, and it's great. Like, Indian doctors are amazing. Like, we want them. They're fantastic. They save lives. They're just amazing at science. They are finding cures for all sorts of stuff. They're good at that, and that's what we want. But then you've got other people coming in, big families, and the sons are more respected than the mothers. And I think that's mental, because I was never brought up like that. Now, if a young lad spoke to my partner disrespectfully, and I had a go at the boy, then that would be classed as racism. And it's not. It's a culture that the boy's been brought up to be better than women, so his father will think he's more than my woman. But my mum, my sort of mum, is more respected than my dad. Like, I've always respected my mum and my gran more, because they're the ones that feed us. You know, they gave birth to me. They went through all that. Like, I have a lot of respect for that. They gave me life. Yeah, my dad did, but he didn't have to do much, did he? Let's say, come on. So I feel like there's more respect in an English culture for a woman than there is for a man. Don't get me wrong, I respect men, but women are the ones that feed us. Yeah, farmers do, but who feeds the farmer? It's his wife in the house getting his bagging ready. You know, so you've got two completely different cultures. That is not going to work. You can't have that under the same roof. But this is the thing, they know that, but they're allowing a new culture to take over the old culture, and I think that is wrong. Shoes off at the door before you go into someone else's home, because you wouldn't like them walking through your home with shoes on, would you? And that's just the way I see everything. I always hold the door open for women, and even men, especially elderly men and elderly women. It's just what I've been brought up to do. But they don't, and they don't thank you for it either. They will never hold the door open for you. Maybe some of them will, sorry, if you've been brought up right. Yes, in our culture, you will. But when you know they've only been here a few years, they won't do it, and they won't say morning, and they won't thank you for holding the door. And just those three things alone can annoy you, because I see it as being disrespectful. But it's not their fault, it's just not their culture. But that isn't going to keep working. I don't want that culture coming into our country. And like, go back 20 years ago, men my age 20 years ago were well spoken. I think were really bad spoken. Like, the speech in England's crap. Like, don't get me wrong, I hated school, and I failed English, I failed everything at school. I just hated school. But now it's like, bro, yo, what's up? The slang has just gone too much. It's like a new language, and it's horrible. It's embarrassing. It's so bad when you hear how bad this slang is. And that isn't, alright, it's come from some white men, but most of it's come from different cultures. I just think that I'm never going to get the country back to how it was. I just don't want it getting worse than what it is. And it is getting worse. I have to disagree to agree on everyone that thinks that it's not getting worse. The past 20 years of my life, I've just seen a downfall in England. Don't get me wrong, I am the happiest I have ever been in my life now. I feel great. But it's scary, because I'm starting to see the downfall of England and what has happened over the years. Like, I can't go and do things with my daughter that I used to be able to do, because it's just too run down, or it's closed. I.e. the pier in Southport. I used to love going up that pier and watching the sunset, getting an ice cream, or going and having a fish and chips on the benches there. But I can't do that anymore with my daughter. I used to like getting the train up and down. Can't do that with my daughter. If I have a son, he'll never be able to go up that pier. And like my grandparents have been on that pier, my great grandparents have been on that pier, my great great grandparents have been on that pier, and now the new generations won't ever be able to go down that pier. So just little things like that, they're getting taken away from us. And old buildings are getting knocked down, historic buildings are getting knocked down, and modern day shitty looking flats are getting put there and rented out. They're not even sold, they're just leased out. I just think stuff like that is absolutely insane. We're getting rid of all of the great history that our nation had and putting it there with crap, like just miserable, depressing crap that just has no character about it. It's just a number. Someone's going to make a lot of money out of it, and someone's going to lose a lot of money out of it. There's nothing that will make you like, oh, that's a nice building or anything like that. It's all been neglected, which is sad. Anyway, I've just realised 36 minutes now, so I'm going to shut up and I'll leave you to it. Thanks for watching the video. Yeah, just please, there's going to be more strikes and peaceful protests. I'm hoping, if you can get out there, please stay peaceful. Don't let the aggressors get you aggressive. Try and keep your emotions in check, but please show up. Show numbers, get out there. Even if you don't agree with what I've said in this, maybe agree with a few things, even one thing. Get out there and try and get your voice heard, because it's only going to get worse. This country's only going to keep going downhill. We just need to get it back going up the hill. Or let's say it's digging a hole, we need to start filling the hole in and trying to get out of it. Do you know what I mean? Or building a ladder to get out of the hole. Anyway, take care, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.